What's happening, guys? Jim the Game Guru. Today, I'm going to get into Under Falling Skies, a very, very unique game. And why is it unique? Because it's a game that focuses on solo play. Yes, one of the few games out there. It's very rare to find a game out there that's focused solely on solo play. I dig the box. I think that the box looks fantastic. The manual is well done. Components are nice. And this game also has a campaign with it. Yeah, it has a campaign, a 4-chapter campaign. So I'm going to do a quick how-to really quick on how to play this game, show you the components. If you're new here, please consider subscribing or following. Okay, let's dig into some Under Falling Skies. As you can see, this board is very, very, very long. I mean, look how long the board is. This is a solo player game like I described in the introduction. And if you look at the board and you see ships up here, so we have a mothership up here, we have a city here, which is Roswell, we have a base here, and we have a sky right here where all the ships come down. And what does that kind of remind you of? What kind of old style game does that remind you of? Yes, Space Invaders. So it's set up like kind of like a Space Invaders type of game, but do not let the Space Invaders theme or aspect of it actually turn you off. This game does have good mechanics. It is a game that uses dice. And you can see right here you have gray and white dice that you use in this game, and you will actually place them down in your base for certain abilities. So let's go over kind of just the overall layout of the board. On the left side here, you have an energy tracker. So this right here is where you go from, it goes from 0 all the way down to 7. And we start off with an energy tracker of 2. Energy is used to perform certain actions in this game in your base. Over here we have a damage tracker. The damage tracker goes from the very top to the bottom as your base takes damage. Once it gets down to here, boom, you are dead, game over. The other way the game is over is that if the mothership ends up coming down all the way down to this line. Right here is a little skull over here. If the mothership ends up getting to here, the game will be over. On the left side here, you have a research track, a giant research track that goes from this alien head, which is 0, I guess, all the way up to this one up here that you need to get 11. You need to get 11 research points up here in order to win the game. This is the only way that you can win the game. This right here, this tracker. That's it. You have 2 ways to lose. Mothership here, dead. Damage your base down here, dead. And only 1 way to win, which is this green tracker. It goes all the way up. That's it. The artwork is really nice as far as the box. I like the box on it. This does have a campaign too. So I'm just going to show you. So now what happens is with this manual, well, let me get into the manual first. So when the manual is really well printed, it shows you how to set it up, the game from the very get-go. No problem reading it. The only thing that was a trip up for me was this part right here where it says you have 5 purple ships. And in the manual, it's always referencing purple ships. And I'm like, purple ships? So this is the ships that you get and that you have to bring down on the tracker. And I'm like, they're kind of, for me, they're kind of reddish, pinkish. And the only time they're really purple is if you hold them against a light source and like look through them at the light source. So I couldn't figure out, I'm like, where are the purple ships? But those red ships are the ones that are the purple ships in the manual. So this is the complete total setup. And then it just goes through and it tells you the gameplay. It tells you about the dice phase, the room phases, the mothership phase, how you use your abilities and your room phases, and then how the mothership actually works when it drops down and spawns new ships to bring down to your ship or to your base. I am only going to show you guys the intro, the very first game that you would play in the game. I'm not going to show you the full game or the campaign mode, because the campaign mode is something that should be in secret. It's something that you don't want ruined for yourself. They actually wrap it up. And then when you open up the box, it'll actually say, it gives you this. When you open up the box, this is the first thing you see. Stop, wait. Starting components are on top. The campaigns are in the box. Leave them in there for now. And then you bring each one of these chapters out of the box as you need them, as you get to the new chapter for that campaign. That way you don't ruin the story. So I am just going to show you the very top sheet of the campaign, and I'm not going to show you anything else because I don't want to ruin the campaign for you, and then I'll get to the gameplay of the game, okay? So let me go ahead and bring this up. Let me see if I can hide this. Okay, I'm going to do that to hide the rest. So you can see there's a comic strip, kind of like a, well, I shouldn't call it a strip, but a comic page of kind of the story. Like you see this person saying there's like a newscast with aliens coming down from the mothership. I've never seen anything like it. And this guy says, oh, I have, send out the jets, right? So yeah, so when you start with this very first campaign, you're going to be looking at this comic strip. And then under here, if you guys can see, there's additional tiles that you're going to be using with the game board as you're playing. So really cool. I mean, I don't know if it gives you additional mechanics or anything. Maybe it's just story driven. I don't know, but I see Mexico City, Rio de Janeiro. I see those cities in there. So I'm guessing that there's going to be additional tiles you're going to be using down here for your cities and maybe part of your base. So let me go ahead and put that back so that way you don't get, so that way there's no spoilers. Now let's go ahead and get into the game. Oh, a couple things. I showed you guys the white and the gray die, but let me go ahead and show you some of the components that I'm not going to be using for this round. So we have over here, we have white ships. We're going to be using that for this demo. But there's a ship over here that we're not going to be using. It's still in the baggie, and it's an orange ship. So we're not going to use the orange ship. That I believe that's used in the campaign, maybe. This die right here is used in the full game when you decide to play with some of the other cities. And these little blue die right here are actually robots, which is really cool. You can actually put robots in your base that will do things. They're kind of like worker bots. Now let me show you some of the other base components here. So I'm going to put these aside, so I'm not going to use that for now. But so like some of the other base components, so if you want to, because you can change your base down here, we'll have blue rooms for the robots right there. Blue rooms for the robots. And Roswell, the city here, does not have any special abilities, but when you get to the full game, you can switch to other cities. You can switch to Washington, D.C. or New York off the get-go. If you want to use these as far as non-campaign play. But I think when you get in the campaign, you might have to use specific cities. But yes, you can swap out Roswell for one of these cities if you want. There's also a backside to the city. And each one of these cities has different abilities, both DC and New York. So on the red side here, I believe this is the second try because you can do 2 tries. If you lose the very first try, then the city is basically ablaze, as you can see here. So if you lose the first try, you can flip it over and try it a second time. So the ability here is a room's value is raised by 1 for each robot in it. And when you don't have it flipped over, you can only have 1 robot, but the value of its room is raised by 1. So yeah, so these cities have actually different abilities. And I like the modular aspect of this game where you can kind of replace certain parts with other cities or whatever. Now the skies, this being the intro game, is set up for easy mode. It's basically an easy mode of the game. Let me bring up some of the skies here so you can see. So this is one of the skies with the research points on the side. So as you go up, you notice the research points on the left side are not in order. And they do that on purpose because there's certain parts where you might have to hurdle another larger number before you get to the next ones. Over here on the right side, these are the mothership actions. So as the mothership is dropping, it will invoke an action here. This being the easier side, well, guess what? There's a harder side on the other side. So if you ever want to make this game harder and you don't want to go through the campaign or anything like that, and you just want to make the general game harder, flip it over to this side. So if you flip over 1, it's going to make it just gradually harder, right? If you flip over the second one, you flip over a third one, you flip them all. I mean, like if all these were flipped over to this gruesome side, then I'm sure the game will get a hell of a lot harder because the mothership actions have much more potency, and the left side has larger numbers. And it's harder to go up the research track. We went over the board, the campaign, and everything else. Let's go ahead and dig into some of the gameplay. So what you have is you have 5 columns right here. You have your base that is also situated in 5 columns. And let me go ahead and show you some of the rooms here within the base. Whenever you put a die on your base, you can only put them 1 die per column, right? And this green one will give you, these green rooms give you research points. The yellow rooms give you energy. This one with the orange one with the kind of the jet on it is a kind of like an airstrike type of thing where any ships, enemy ships that are on any of these explosive things in the sky, you can shoot them down as long as your die value is equal to or greater after resolving the room. So some of these rooms have modifiers too, that whatever die you put in there, it gives you a -1 or -2 or a +1 or whatever. Up here on this area up here, you have these gunners, and these gunners, what they do is they will slow down the ships that are coming down, because every time you place a die in a particular column in your base, that die will be the number of spaces the ships will come down. There's also an excavator here. So one thing I really like about this game is that you have this excavator that has to basically excavate the base and dig it out, right? You cannot use any rooms in here that haven't been dug out yet. So the very first time you play this, you're only going to have access to these rooms right here. That's it. Because the excavator has to dig out the rest. All right, so let's go ahead and do our first roll. So these white ships don't go on the mothership just yet. There's special actions that will probably make that actually come down. So one thing about the white die, so this is my first roll. I have a 2, 5, and a 1, and then these 2 white dies are 2 and 4. So the white die have a very special rule where whenever you place a white die, you have to re-roll all the dice that you have not put on your base yet. And like I said earlier with the mechanics, this game actually don't let the Space Invaders thing fool you in thinking it's a simple, stupid game, because the mechanics are actually well thought out in this game, like really well thought out. So just like that ability right there that I just mentioned with the white die, forcing you to re-roll your other die. So I look at this, I see what, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this ship will 4 spaces will drop to a spot where I can shoot it down. 1, 2, 3, and then this one's what, 4 again. This one's 5, and this one's way beyond. So what am I gonna do here? So typically you're gonna want to play any high gray die that you have rolled. That way, anything that's low with the gray die, like these ones right here, are only 1 and 2. So obviously, I'm going to place a white die before I even think about using these. That way, I can re-roll these die. So this was what, a 5? I think this was a 5? Or did I mess that up? Was that a 5? Okay, so let's go ahead and place this 5. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it, that's good. So if I place it here, this is going to drop, what, 4? So that's no good for me. Let me do maybe I'll do it right here. So a 5 right there. So this ship, as soon as you put that there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there you go. As soon as you put a die in your base on a room, then a enemy ship will drop down that number of spaces, okay? Unless you put a die right here on the gunners, which is a -1 to the spaces those enemy ships drop. And another thing I want to kind of explain too, really quick, is that these rooms that are adjacent like that, or together like that, these have to work together. You have to have at least 2 dice in that room in order to reap the benefits. If you only have 1 dice in that room, it's not going to work. You will not be able to use the ability of that room. So this one right here that I put this 1 die in the yellow room for energy, I need to put another 1 in there. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this 4 here, and this is going to drop this ship 1, 2, 3, 4. So now those 2 ships are in 2 blast squares, which is fantastic. I placed a white die. What does that do? That forces me to have a reroll of the dies that I haven't used yet. It kind of sucks because I have a 3 and a 2 and a 2, which is terrible. I was hoping for a little bit better than that. Wow. So what am I gonna do with that? That sucks. What I might do, oh boy, that is awful. What I might do is I might put it here. So this gunner is gonna move this down two. So the die is a two, right? So what's happening is normally a ship will move down two, but since this gunner has a -1 on it, the ship is only gonna move down one. Okay? So it's whatever the die value is -1. Now put a white die down. You know what that means? I re-roll the die that I haven't put back in there. Okay, so now I have a 4 and a 3. That is quite unfortunate. I was hoping that one of these would have ended up being like a 5 or a 6 so I can shoot down these two ships. But of course not. That would just be too easy. So let me go ahead and just... I think I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put a 3 there. So it's actually only going to drop 2, the ship. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put a 4 here. So it's a -1, which is 3, right? So then this goes on a blast zone as well. So this last one, I'm going to put it right here, which is a 3. So this is 1, 2, 3. So that moves down like that. So there we go. So these two die have already been resolved because as soon as you put them on there, it stops the ships from coming down as far. So we're going to pull those two. Let's go ahead and resolve this. I did not put a die anywhere ahead of the excavator. That's the only way that you can get the excavator to excavate those areas. Let me go ahead and resolve this one here. This one is 9 because I have a 5 and a 4 in a double room. And then the room modifier is -3 to your rolls. So 9 minus 3 is 6. So my energy meter goes up by 6. And the max you can have is 7. So there you go. It goes all the way to the max. So these two have been resolved. So now the only thing I got is to resolve is a aircraft strike. It takes 1 energy to use that aircraft strike. So that 1 energy goes back up. And then this also has a modifier of -1 on it, so this 3 becomes a 2. Is there any ship on a spot where, okay, so this ship blows up because it's on a space that has a 1, so 2 is greater than 1, equal to or greater. These ones are both on spots where they can be shot down, but those are both 4. I don't have enough, so I don't have enough to do anything with those. Very crappy first round for me on this. Now what happens next is you get into, after you resolve the rooms in your base, you get into the mothership phase. Dun, dun, dun. What happens is the mothership drops down 1, it gets closer to your city. Haha. This ship was on there, but since the mothership came down, that ship goes back onto it. And then what you do is you resolve the action of the mothership. So the action of the mothership right now on that spot is to spawn 1 white ship. So I'm going to take this 1 white ship and I am going to put it on the mothership. There you go. Next, the very next thing you do is you spawn the ships. So that drops here. That drops into this column. Now, if you notice, all of the columns have ships. You have 2 in the spawn, and then 2, 3 in the columns already. So where does this next white ship go? This next white ship goes into a spawn location that is furthest away from the ship in that column. And in this case, it would be this right here. There you go. So there's the white ship. And then anytime you put a die in a specific column, all of the ships in that column will come down as 1. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this next round here and see if I can do any better. All right, so I got a 5 and a 6. Here we go. I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to try to get the excavator going because I really need to get some rooms here. So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can get all the way over here with the excavator. So, but man, if I put that there, so 6 here, right? Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Is there one that can go right there? So 6 right there, but no, if I do 6 here, that's no good. I think I might, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I might just put one right here so I can get the excavator moving all the way down here. Unfortunately, I cannot use these rooms right here until they are excavated. So every die that I put down on the base has to be after the excavator until the room phase where the excavator digs that out. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will drop down 6 here. All right, so now I use that. We have a 5 here, which is really good as well. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, that's 3. This is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, I can't get anything. I need a 4 to get a ship, or a 3 to get a ship to a spot where I can... let's see. What I might do is I might do this. I might do a 5 right here. So it's going to drop this down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this will give me some research points that can move up on this track, which will help me out. Now I got a 3 here, so I'm going to go ahead and put a 3 here. So this will move this alien ship down to this next blast point. But it also allows me to re-roll these 2 die because it's white. I love white die and their abilities. And I've got 2 4s. Fantastic. So I got 2 4s. What am I going to do with the 2 4s? I only have 2 columns that don't have dice in them. So I need to pick the right one. So this is what, a 3 on that blast point. This is going to move down again. No blast point here. So that's the only one that can be shot down right now. Because that has already moved, that has already moved, and that has already moved. So it's just these 2. So a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's good with that. So I'm going to do a... Oh, but that's a 4 value. That sucks so bad, man. And this actually makes it a -1, so it's a 3. But it's all right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That drops it down to there. And then I am going to stick this other 4 right here so I can use some energy. 1, 2, 3, 4. The other ship up here also moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wish this was greater than a 4 because I would be able to kill some of these ships that are coming down. Let's get into the resolution of the rooms. I'm not going to use the energy yet for these because I want to use my energy on my tracker first. So this costs 2 energy right here to get some research points. 1, 2. My energy goes up to 4 from 6. So I resolved this. This gives me 5 research points. 3 to cover the very first one, and then 4 to cover that. For the very next one is 3, but I'm only left with 1 research point. And anytime you get research points from your base, you resolve them 1 die at a time. 1 die at a time. So we resolve that. I'm going to resolve this one now right here, which takes 1 more energy. So that goes down to 3 now. This is going to be a 4, an airstrike with 4, but -1 because of the room modifier. So it's 3. I cannot kill this. I can kill this. So this ship goes back up. What else do we have? I cannot kill that because it's a 4. So all of those are up there still. Boo-hoo-hoo. So let's go ahead and now do the energy right here. So energy, we've got 7 -3, and that's a 5, which will take us all the way back up to 7 anyway. So there we go. We resolve those. And I recommend moving the die after you resolve your effects, so that way you don't lose track of what's happening. You say, oh, did I count that already? Did I not count that? Whatever. So the excavator now moves all the way to this room with this die. Perfect. Now, by the way, whenever you put down a die in a room for the excavator, it doesn't need to be the exact number of spaces on the die. Like, I mean, I could have put a 6 here if I wanted and only move the excavator to that point. Usually, you're going to want to take advantage of a high roll as much as possible and have your excavator come out as much as possible. So I use the excavator. That takes 1 energy because the excavator requires 1 energy point, so my energy goes back up to 6. So now we get to the mothership phase. The mothership actually drops 1 level again, and it actually moves my excavator back 2. I hate that. It moves it all the way back up there. So I can use these rooms, but I can't use these 2 other parts that I excavated. Well, this one was a double room anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I'm kind of upset that that one is not available now because that would give me more choices on this first column. but whatever. And then now we get to the spawning. We have another ship that needs to be spawned, and it's going to go over here because that's the only column that doesn't have any ships. And now we get into round 3. So there's a damage marker over here. So you probably wonder, you might be wondering, how in the hell does your base take damage? Your base takes damage whenever one of these ships enters your city, goes like right below the sky into your city. It'll take 1 damage, and that ship goes back to the mothership. Or if there's a special ability on the side that the mothership will have, some of these, when you flip them over to the harder sides, will actually have a mothership ability that will deal a damage to your base. So that's how you take damage, and then of course when you get to the skull, you're dead. Let's go ahead and roll now. This is the last round I'm going to do because I think you guys are you're kind of getting the idea of how the game is played. But let's do one more because I am having fun right now. Let's see, we've got a 3 and a 5 for a white. Now, I have a 5 for a gray, so I might want to use the 5 gray first. Let's see how many these fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. This needs a 3. This needs a 3. Wait, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, if I have a 6, I can probably blow this up if I can get that down. Oh, this is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I can get that one down to a 5. What am I gonna do here? You know, maybe I'll put it right here on the energy. So I'll do a 5 there. And then I have a 5 white. So the 5 white. All right, so I put the 5 there. So this drops 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So I have a 5 white. I think I'm gonna put the 5 white over here where the airstrike is, because I like the, just in case I get any other ships on some blast areas, I can maybe kill them this time. So this moves down, what, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the ship goes all the way down to here. And this ship is getting close to my city skyline, as you can see. The white die was played, so that means a reroll. Wow, that's a 1 for the white. That sucks. It is so bad. So we got 1 for that. So what I might do is I might put the 1 on one of these here, but not yet, because I don't want to re-roll these, because these are 5s and 6s, which are absolutely delicious. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I can't get that any of those ships to drop on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6. I can put a 6 here. 6 here will allow this one to go all the way down to here, this blast zone, which is great. And what do we have here? We have a 5 right now. So we have a 5. What am I going to do with the 5? I might just put it here to maximize the energy here, because this has got a -3 modifier anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These ships come down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Those are getting very, very, very close to my base. And then I'll do this one right here. The gunner is a -1, whatever die you put there. Well, I put a 1. -1 means 0. So this does not move at all, the ship right there in that column. Let's go ahead and resolve the rooms. It's time to resolve the rooms. Oh, and you noticed I didn't move the excavator. I mean, I could have, but I didn't. So that is going to come back to haunt me. Yes, indeed. What do we got here? We got a 2 in the blast. We got a 3 in the blast. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend the 1 energy to use my airstrike there, which is going to be a 4 because it's 5 -1 with the modifier. This ship is gone now. This ship is gone up here too, because those were both on blasts that I could destroy. These guys are not, right? Nope, none of those. None of those guys are actually on blast zones. So this one right here, I want to be very careful. I hope I get a 2 to eventually bring this ship down only 2, so I can blow them up here and maybe get a 1 on this one. Actually, no. Yeah, and get a 1 on this one so that I can bring him down a little bit like that. Okay, so what else do we have? So this one's already resolved because that person cannot move. This one right here, 6 energy. So let me go ahead and use the 2 energy required to use this. So I get 6 research points instead of energy. Cost me 2 to get 6. So now I can move this research checker up 1 spot up to here where it's 3. So now I have 3 points left. The next spot is a 1, so I can go up there. Now I have 2 points left. But hey, I can't go to this next spot because it's a 4. That spot's a 4, so I can't move anymore with the research. Now this being 5 and 5, 10 minus 3 is 7. I get 7 energy, which takes me all the way back to the map. And now we get to the mothership phase. Bum, 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 bum. The mothership drops down even further. And guess what? They get a white ship again. Now, what happens when you destroy a white ship on the board? The white ships are gone. So like if this ship ever gets destroyed, it's gone. When these red ships get destroyed, they go back to the mothership. So only the white ships are the ones that come off the board completely. So that spawned another white ship. Now we gotta put one ship here because there's nothing here. I gotta put one ship over here because there's nothing here. And then the white ship is gonna go into a spawn place where it's furthest to the ship. So it's gonna be right here because I think this is the one that's furthest, right? Because this one has to go on blank, blank, and then yeah, this is the furthest. And there you go. So that's set up now for this next round. As you can see, as the mothership is falling, is coming down, it's going to get harder after a while. And this is set up for easy mode. Remember, this board is the initial starting board, easy mode. It will get harder later on as this gets closer down, because every time the ships go back and they keep respawning, they're going to be closer to your city based on where the mothership is. The mothership never goes back up. It never goes back up. It's always coming down. So it's a race against the clock. You need to get this research track all the way up to 11 before that thing comes all the way down and kills you. And you also at the same time need to fend off these ships and blow them up to send them back up to the mothership so you don't take damage nonstop, because this damage could destroy you as well. It could kill you. So one thing I've done poorly in this playthrough is I have not excavated enough of the base, and I'm constantly just left with these rooms up here which are not doing anything. Because as you get down further down in here into your base, you get rooms that are way more powerful. Instead of the -1 modifier like this one has, the one down here is a +1 modifier to whatever die you put there, which is really, really cool. Yeah, this is, I mean, I actually like this game. You know, I've picked up a few of the Chex Games Edition games, the CGE right here. Any game that you see with this marker, this kind of logo right here. I've picked up a few of their titles, and I feel like every single one of their games is always different than something else they've already put out. Like drastically different. And I've enjoyed every single title that I picked up. I picked up Through the Ages from them, fantastic. Galaxy Trucker, fantastic. And then this game, Under Falling Skies. It's a good, awesome solo game. I think for a solo game, it's got great mechanics. It's something you can sit there quietly by yourself and just play when there's no one around and you just want, you're sipping on a coffee or whatever you're doing, and just kind of just get through. The Space Invaders theme seems kind of cheesy, but and very old school, but the mechanics they've implemented on this game, as you guys have seen, are just really, really solid. And this is the entry-level game. So as you flip these over to make them harder, and not only that, but when you start playing with the other cities, remember when I said earlier, when you start playing with the other cities, you can start using the robots. So like if you end up changing your base board to have the blue rooms, you can have worker robots in your base. And these die do not get removed. So when you put them on the board in your base as robots, they actually stay, while the gray and white dice are the ones that get re-rolled and get pulled off the board. And I absolutely love that. I think it's cool. Yeah, but it's solid title, man. It's a very solid title. And the fact that it also comes with that campaign inside of it that is hidden, and you got to work through each chapter, and then each chapter, it kind of reveals the package in there, and there's 4 of them. Yeah, I dig that. So this is Under Falling Skies, and it's by Chex Games Edition. It's actually pretty solid. Solo-focused game. So if you want something for solo play, there you go. All right, guys, until the next video, I'm out. See ya.